story real quick, right? I made Josh a promise. He told me a story about a year ago, and I made him a promise in life, man. And he even said, which is crazy now, and it's the reason why I'm going to tell you guys the story, is that Josh said, he's like, bro, give me your word as a man that you'll never say anything about this. I said, that you got my word. He said, unless I die, then you can say whatever you want. And we took it as a joke. I said, don't say that, bro. That ain't going to happen. Well, it has, unfortunately. So now, because I got the green light for him, this right here is going to kind of tell you how depressed he was. I heard Josh at one of the most depressing moments of his life. He called me, and he was depressed. And I was like, what's wrong, bro? Are you good? And I could tell he didn't really want to say anything, but at the same time, he was kind of just like, you know, I need to get some shit off my chest. And so I said, what's up? So I'm going to tell you guys the whole story. This is the truth. He said that, you know, he was staying out there in Nevada, doing his thing. And back then, he used to talk to Renegade Media, okay? They weren't necessarily besties, but, you know, they were cool with each other. They were friends. And, you know, some of the content that at that time Renegade Media was doing, man, it piqued Josh's interest. So Josh seen him coming up. He's seen his channel building. He was like, hey, bro, I can help you. You can help me. It's whatever. Renegade started to do a little bit of a different type of content, more geared towards prison organizations. And Josh was like, I ain't trying to do all that. You know, he would talk about certain things, but there were certain things in depth that he just didn't want to talk about. And he was like, I'm cool. Anyways, he got Renegade a place to live in his area. I'm not going to say exactly where, but it was in his area. Renegade no longer lives there. I heard he moved. But Josh was like, hey, because the dude, him and his family needed a place. He was having some technical difficulties out there in Tulare County. This is years ago, right? A few years ago. And so Josh got him a place to stay. Like, hey, bro, you know, man, I can hook you with some realtors, some places if you need to rent a place out the way. And so that dude did. And he was in the same area as Josh. Didn't necessarily live right next door, but he was in the same area, right? As Josh didn't necessarily live right next door, but he was in the same area, right? And so for those of you that didn't know, Josh suffered major health problems, right? He had a lot going on. He had a catheter. He had a bag, you know. He was shot in East Palo Alto years ago. And, you know, he had a lot going on, man. He was a cancer survivor, I believe, at one point, or going through some type of treatments. Josh just had a lot going on in his life, right? Health-wise. And he had to have a surgery. I believe it was on his back. And so he knew this was a big surgery coming up. He was going to be in the hospital for about a month. He was going to be down, right? So what he did was he asked, oh boy, right, Jay. He's like, hey, bro, do me a paro, do me a favor. And he said, yeah. He said, and this dude had been to his house, been to his home, so he knew the ins and outs and what was going on. He's like, my dog Blue, you know what I'm saying, which was Josh's best friend. I mean, he loved that dog more than he loved his life, right? Literally. This was the dog he told me that got him through depression, got him through times when him and his old lady were in a bad situation, when he was on drugs and in a bad situation. Like, this was his boy. And those of you that have your dog, man, know it's a man's best friend. And sometimes, man, it's all you got on some DMX shit. And that's how he felt about his dog Blue, his pit, right? And he was like, do me a favor, bro, because always thinking about others and, you know, helping others move in excellence rather than just thinking about yourself. Josh told him, hey, bro, do me a favor. Can you feed him while I'm in the hospital? You know, and Jay said, yeah, I got you. Don't trip. I got you. And he's like, hey, gracias, whatever, right? So Josh is about a week to 2 weeks in the hospital. And I guess everything is going good, right? He's not really checking up because he figures, hey, the homie got it. It's not too hard to feed a dog, right? Well, at some point, Jay decides that he's not going to go over there to feed him. He just sends his old lady with his children over there, right? He tells his old lady, I don't know what he had going on, no hatred towards the dude. He just couldn't make it that day. And he told his old lady, hey, can you go over there and do it? And she took the babies with her. She took her son, okay? And, you know, this is a pit bull. Pit bulls can flash at any point in time. And so she goes behind in the backyard to go give the food, and she has her son, and he's looking at the dog, and Blue jumps up, Josh's dog, and kind of mauls the little boy, right? Not bad, but he did bite him enough where he had to go to the hospital to get some stitches. When Josh is telling me the story, the first thing I'm saying is, well, why would that guy send his old lady and his kids? You asked him. He said, exactly. He goes, but, you know, I understand. I said, I get it. But, man, you shouldn't have kids around a big pit bull like that. It's just not safe. Anyways, Josh gets out the hospital. Authorities come to his house. Jay takes his son to the hospital, and they put Blue down. You know, they say that dog needs to be put down, and Jay says that dog needs to go. And someone who looked out for him and did that for him, right? And Josh was very hurt, man. He was very hurt, and that relationship was never the same. And when he told me that, I was like, man, I ain't going to speak on that, but it just, I get it, man. I get how he was feeling about his kid, and I get how you're feeling about your dog. And the best thing to do is just separate yourself from that individual, because he's never going to see it your way, and you're not going to see it his.
First videos that I'm ever gonna make. Good morning, you guys. It's Sunday. And about an hour ago, I received a text message. And the text message was that Josh, the homie Hangout, took his own life. I immediately called Gunner. We were doing everything we could, calling him, texting him, hoping somebody would pick up the phone and say, nah, man, that's bullshit. That's somebody hating. And nobody said that. As I'm recording this video, like I said, it's been at least an hour since I heard about it. This is one of